You have found the Open Eclectic Podcast, where Nate and Josh talk about everything from mobile games to books to pet peeves to cars to toys. Our interests run eclectic and we're open to more. Welcome to the Open Eclectic.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. Josh and Nate are here. I'm Josh, he's Nate.
Here we are.
We're down. We don't have our super fan with us tonight. Although
we don't.
We greatly enjoyed having Alexa on.
Yeah, big thank you for coming on.
Tonight, we're going to, or I guess it could be today, wherever you guys are. Whenever you're listening, it could be yesterday. If you're a time traveler. Anyway, whatever that means. So we are going to talk about the Super Bowl, which happened last Sunday.
Yeah.
In this timeline, and it was a American football match betwixt two teams, one from the National Football Conference, the other from the American Football Conference, the Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Two teams that I speculated at the beginning as we were watching it. So last episode we did reveal that I'm notoriously not really a sports fan. However, I tend to watch the Super Bowl almost every year. It's a good excuse to get together and hang out with people.
It is a media spectacle.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be a football fan. And I mean, Josh, I've known you for a long time, and I know you've never been a football fan.
Yeah, not really.
Which is fine for the Super Bowl. I mean, we wouldn't subject you to watching the regular season football or even really the playoffs, but the Super Bowl is, like I said, is a spectacle. It's something, it's beyond the game because it's, you got commercials,
everybody pulls out all the stops for
all
it.
The stops. Like. You got commercials, halftime show, you got all the celebrity guests that show up to it.
Yeah. But I will say that I noticed at the beginning of the game, so our friend who was here watching it with us, she's looking at the teams coming in, and she goes, they just don't look excited to be here. And I said, that's because both teams are confused as to how they ended up here at the Super Bowl.
No, see, that's called professional focus.
That was my trash talk.
That's why they didn't look excited, because it was business. It was down to business.
I mean,
if I was there as a player, I think I would be excited because
I'd be freaking out, man.
Because there's no way I would be there for real. So if I actually was there, I'd be like, "Oh my god!"
Oh yeah, I'd be waving and like hyping it up, man. I don't think I could resist. Be like, yeah, that's right. I may never be here again. This is, for those who play American football, like that's it. That's as high as you go, is the Super Bowl. So
yep,
they just looked, I don't know, they all started kind of morose.
Yeah, but I mean, I think, I don't know. I think that it belies, am I using this right? What's running through my head is belies a cool exterior, but I don't think that's right. Cool exterior belies. Basically, I'm saying the observation was that they looked like they weren't excited, but I think it was probably, professionalism, focus, nerves, Yeah. Because you said it is the biggest, it is the highest.
It's kind of weird because you don't really associate, I don't really associate professionalism with football players. No offense to all of our football player listeners, but don't really have a great reputation in that department per se.
What do you mean? Explain yourself.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because the era in which I did watch more of the regular games, there was a lot of controversy surrounding like end zone celebrations and like behavior on the sidelines and some of that stuff. And maybe some of that's gone away, or maybe it's just something we've accepted now. But like, I just remember my stepdad being very grumpy about some of this stuff. And
so you like real like stick in the mud, like they shouldn't be celebrating after they score a touchdown. And they shouldn't be.
I think it was the excessive kind of attitude that was with it, as opposed to like, hooray, and I don't know.
I mean, it's like a fine line they have to walk, I guess, because it's like it's their job, right? And that they get paid to play a game.
Yeah.
And
I said that a lot during the game, actually, because that's like my armchair coach coming out. There was like a play and one of the players like, missed it or dropped the ball or whatever. And I was like, come on, man, why don't you just do your job? Do your job. Which is like, I mean,
get paid for this.
Terrible.
You can't, why are you making mistakes?
That was my weak sort of
nobody makes mistakes.
Game day talk. Ooh, hey, hold on for just a second here. I was not expecting this person to call me. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, bye. All right, well, my breakfast appointment canceled on me. It's cool. It's fine. It really is. Yeah, 9 times out of 10 when he calls me, he's somehow... Like, butt dialing shouldn't be a thing in today's technology.
Yeah, you'd think so.
He butt dials me a lot.
Who's that?
Ryan.
Oh. Does he still have some old Nokia phone?
No, he's got like a top of the line iPhone.
Enter the lock code, to lock the keys.
I don't know how I don't know if it's that or if it's like.
Sometimes
if he dials from his Apple Watch or something.
Like, I know that if you have the tap to activate the screen and then you put it in your pocket, you might accidentally. I don't know.
That's probably it.
Still, I think it'd be hard. I've never done it.
I haven't in a long time.
I don't think I've ever done that. So. I do remember one thing that's humorous when so I got my first cell phone. We can the magic of editing.
Yeah.
We can edit all this in. I got my first cell phone. Josh had a surprise phone call, so now we're off track. We'll get back to the Super Bowl, I promise.
Yeah, maybe this will be like a dump I'll put on after the credits.
Stick around.
Stick around.
I got my first cell phone. It was AT&T. I went and got it myself, and I was like, I ended up not keeping it because I don't know why. It was like a year or two before I got I got the same number I have now.
Yeah.
Got my first phone on that. Stayed in it after that. For whatever reason, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I can afford it. Blah blah blah. Anyway, so I got it, and I was messing around with the phone, and Josh was one of the few numbers or people. You had a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the few people that I would have any reason to put in my phone. I know Josh. He has a cell phone. I'll put his number in.
Boop, boop, boop.
Excuse me.
Well, putting someone in your phone in those days was a commitment.
Yeah.
That was serious.
You've taken up
time.
80% of the memory of your phone. What?
Yeah.
It's just numbers.
It's bad.
It's a name and numbers.
10 megabytes.
But what I did... No, what happened was I had your cell number, I think, and I had your home phone. I don't know. Maybe
I might have had a landline at that time.
So I think what I did, something I was messing around with it, and I accidentally entered the code to forward calls.
No, I remember this because we were trying to figure out how to block somebody, and was like, oh yeah, you just do this, and so we did it, and instead it was the call forwarding.
So I entered your number, and I ended up forwarding a bunch of not that I was getting a lot of calls. I don't remember what it was exactly, but something weird. And I did it, and I was like, huh, that was weird. And then I think I turned it back off, and then I think it was your mom later. She's like, did something weird happen? We got phone calls for you or something.
Yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, about that.
We had to take. I think I had to take my phone because I did it too. And I don't know if we were trying to create a loop. Anyway, I think I had to take my phone in and have it fixed. Ooh. They had to undo it, which sounds bad, but it was just they were just idiot. Boop, 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 done.
This happens 80 times a day.
Probably stupid kids.
It's like resetting passwords.
Yeah. Oh jeez.
Anyway, yeah, so that was funny. But anyway, so I had that phone for briefly, and then I took it back. And then
I think that was on my original number too, because that's not the number I have now either. Oh. I've changed my number once, and it was really early on.
Actually, I take it back. The number I have now, I've had it for a long time, but it was not my first number. I had a number, obviously, because I had a cell phone. So I went in with the whole fam, the step fam. We're we're not going to get cell phones, and we all got the same ones, and they were those Motorola, the blue flip. It was the gray, and it had the blue cover on it.
Mm-hmm.
The really basic.
Was that the Chonky Boy?
No, it was I mean, it wasn't too big.
Okay.
I mean, this would have been like 2004-ish.
Back when phones were cool.
It was before the Razor.
It was before the Razor, yeah.
So, I had this phone. And we were all on the same plan, all the family. Like, everyone was like one number off the other one, except, or it wasn't that. It was, because it's like whatever number's available. They're like, okay, you can have this number. This one's available. You can have this. So, funny story. Stepbrother, it gets to him. They pull up the numbers that are available, and the number is the ending part of the number is 666. So he's like,
he freak out.
Yes. Well, not like bad. He's just kind of like, yeah. Can I get a different number? Step family, very religious.
Yeah.
So he got a different number. Anyway, so had that for a few years, and then I think the Razor came out, and so I was like,
one of those.
I was like, I want one, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go in and get my own number. So I gave my phone number became, at first it was my dad and stepmom's number.
Yeah.
On their cell phone. It's now just my stepmom's number because my dad finally has his own phone.
That's right.
That's when I got my own number.
For a while.
Yeah, but the Razor.
Remember those Razors?
Hot. It was like...
And LG tried to compete with the Katana.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't do as well.
Yeah. Good times. I remember, I think I paid like $7 back then for a poker game on the phone.
I had a couple games that I paid for.
I mean, the screen is like this big.
You're like,
and you're like,
yeah.
It had like the little circle like navigation thing with the button in the middle, so you like up, left,
like,
down, right? Oh, jeez, memory lane.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got that phone, that's when I got the number I have now.
I low-key want to try getting like a BlackBerry. Yeah, like I don't know, just.
I think BlackBerry's like officially dead now.
Yeah, it's pretty much. You can still get a BlackBerry phone now, but like they're not doing any more.
I mean,
I'll probably get the next Pixel.
They run Android, but I'm like, I feel like BlackBerry, the company, are they done?
Yeah, they got bought out by.
They killed
somebody,
off
right?
they killed off the BlackBerry like email server and stuff.
Yeah, or the Palm phones. Those were something else too.
Yeah.
Those were. I mean, they were quality though. Like that was. You wanted a phone that had a lot of solid functionality. The
Palm?
Great. Yeah.
So a guy at my work. So this is like in the last couple years. So they came out with that Palm Pre.
Yeah.
That was like it was supposed to be like a companion phone.
Yeah.
Like, it's really tiny.
It's real tiny.
And it's not supposed to be your main cell phone.
It's your drunk phone, right? Is that one of those? So it's like a little phone that you get that you take out drinking, so you can still call and text, and it has like a couple apps, but not a lot. And that way, if you lose it, it's cheaper to replace that.
Yeah, kind of like that, or like if I'm gonna go ride my bike, I'm gonna go like hike, I'm gonna go for a long run, and I don't want to take my big clunky phone, so I'm gonna take my Palm Pre. So he had this, and it was his only phone.
That's impressive.
And I think the novelty of it wore off pretty quick.
Slide out keyboard.
I think the battery was really bad. Like the battery was terrible, the screen was small. It was just tough for him to use, so he switched.
I'm a year overdue almost. Well, I'm working on my third year of this phone, and my battery's held up very well.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that thing is tiny.
So BlackBerry, I look under products. They're still around. They just don't have phones. I don't see cellular telephones on here anymore.
Yeah.
They got all kinds of stuff though. It's like looks like they're focusing more on like security, which is cool.
It makes sense. Their
email system was always touted for being really secure. So.
Like for a while, government stuff. Like if you were high enough in the government, your work phone was a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
If I remember right, there was a article I read the headline for.
I missed out on the sweet spot of BlackBerries. Like I had the BlackBerry Storm 2, which was the clicky touchscreen.
Oh, yeah. Which was okay. Like it wasn't bad. Fine. It was just.
It was okay. Yeah, it was all right. Again, the apps were very lacking, and I think I had Scrabble, and I only knew like two other people that had Blackberries with also BlackBerry Messenger. Like, they had their own messenger service.
Yeah.
But I never actually, like, messaged my friends that I knew. Like, I wasn't good enough friends with them to, like, text them all the time. So I kind of missed out on the BlackBerry craze. It was a little bit before, I think.
Yeah. Apparently Palm is still making phones, though.
Are they?
Yeah. It's very small. It's a minimalist phone is what they're touting it as.
Something that would fit into the palm of your hand.
Size of a credit card, it says. So.
Oh. Best smartphone for minimalists, athletes. Yeah, see? Life on the go. Go out drinking, or you go hiking, or you go biking, or you go whatever.
Something you can, like if you trash it, you don't feel too bad.
It looks cool. Yeah, I remember this. My friend at work, I remember seeing this.
I guess that's kind of what I want, is like a try it before you buy it program where I could like go in and like knowing it's it's not the phone that I would actually get. It's like one of the, like a loaner phone kind of a thing where I can, experiment for like a month or 3 weeks with like a different ecosystem or different sized phone.
Maybe we should just like have like a side project where we somehow through the magic of the internet and sucking up to the right people, we can tech review stuff.
We could. Next new thing we get, we should do like a hardcore review. Just thinking about getting some headphones, actually.
Listeners, what do you think? Would that be cool?
Who knows if our listeners will actually hear this?
Phone lines are open. Give us a call. Tell us what you think. We got 3 phone lines here ready.
867-5309.
Yep. 867. So I'm looking at this and they're like showing screenshots, and they're like our custom stunning 3.3-inch display, and they show like a picture of the App Store, the Android App Store, and literally it's like there's 2 of those rows that you swipe this way of apps. There's 2 of them. Like, man.
Yeah. We should do intentionally crap reviews. Like, get the cheapest new phone on the market and be like, all right, here's what we're going to use for the next however long.
So you're not saying like we do a poor job of reviewing, but we pick the crappiest thing and review it. I like that idea, because that's a cool angle.
Yeah. Like, this is the most inexpensive phone you can get, and we are trying it for the next...
We're suffering
so you don't have
for the benefit of our listeners.
Because like Hawaii phones started that way, where they were like this sort of, poor man's phone, but they've really steadily like upped their game. Or I always wanted to try the OnePlus phone. I don't think they're making them anymore. It was a e-ink smartphone. So no color. So you can still have all your apps and stuff. It and the battery lasted forever.
So one of our other super fans, Andy, he had, I don't know if he still does, but he had some Android phone that was, I don't know if it was the OnePlus or if it was something else, but it was like, Andy, if and when you listen to this, let us know, or I could message you. Send him a text right now and ask him.
Do it. Yeah, so there's apparently, like if you look at the product chart website, you can sort your phone by operating system: Android, BlackBerry, iOS, Windows.
Where in what? Sorry,
on that product chart site.
Oh yeah.
So there's one called Harmony.
Productchart.com.
Apparently, only one phone has it. It's a Hawaii. Oh, it's expensive though. $1,100.
Okay.
Not compatible with Verizon or Sprint.
Is it like a jitterbug or
China
something?
version. Oh. That's expensive for a phone that...
So I looked up cheap cell phones. Best Buy was the first result, and it pulled up a $50 Nokia 225 classic blue. It's like the updated version of the old school Nokia phones.
Okay.
Like it has the number pad on the bottom and the little menu buttons and stuff, but it actually has a screen on it. Like,
I'd give it a go.
Oh man. It actually looks kind of cool. It's got a rating of 3.8 based on 70 reviews.
Wow.
You can get it in black or classic blue. Is it compatible with Verizon? That's what I need to know.
That is the deal breaker a little bit there, because...
Unless you just like...
Of course
unless you just get a SIM for it and just,
That's true.
Pay month to month or something.
Buy minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
I think to fully, test it, though, you'd have to have it fully ported over.
Yeah, I mean... You'd have to commit.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be like these bloggers on the internets, these millennials or whatever. I mean, so I read. It was part of a series. I only read I didn't read the whole series. But this woman, it was all about internet privacy, and so she was like, I don't think she actually switched phones. But what she did is she was like, I'm gonna cut out Google, Amazon. I think those were the big ones.
Yeah.
I could find the article. I just have to look for
Facebook.
Yeah, I think she cut. Yeah. So she may have switched phones at some point, and I know that it was a big struggle because she really committed to it because she talked to somebody who made it so they blocked Apple, not Apple. Basically any connections trying to be made to Amazon servers or Google, and it breaks a lot of stuff because maybe the app itself, whatever app you're trying to use, maybe it doesn't say it's made by Google or made by Amazon or whatever, but it uses Amazon Web Services, or it uses Google Maps or something like that. So it broke all kinds of stuff. And so I want to say that she maybe did that with her iPhone. She tried to just cut as much out as she could, and it was very difficult.
No kidding.
And then part of it, I think she interviewed a privacy advocate person who was telling her about there are cell phones that are specifically made to be privacy focused.
Yeah.
So they don't. That's a totally different operating system. It doesn't. They've got their own apps. They don't use any of the stuff that the big boys use. Yeah, I'll have to find that article and send it to you. So what my whole point, going back to what I was saying, is that these reviewers go all in, or these people that write these articles, they're like,
well, yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So she was just like, I'm taking my digital life off of my iPhone, and I'm going to trim and cut and block as much of this stuff as I can and see if I can function. And it ended with her, she was on a plane with her kid and her husband, and it was having trouble keeping the kid occupied. But then they got to their Airbnb, but she couldn't pull up the instructions from the owner for the code to get in the house because the app didn't work or something like that. Mm-hmm. So she then she did something old school, I had it written down somewhere. So it's oh. So it's so a big point of it was it was kind of nice to disconnect from that stuff because it forced her to, do stuff we did before we had phones, read a book or a magazine or something.
Still read books. We talk
to your spouse and whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, we do because we're cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Anyway, listeners, if you think that's a good idea for us to do these crap reviews or these intentionally limiting reviews, let us know, because we like the idea.
I kind of do, yeah. There's a lot of weird, kind of cool one-off stuff that's out there.
Right? It's I'm with you, Josh. I'm there's all this stuff, and I'm I want to try it, but it's I can't because I'm well, I have an iPhone, and I can't my wife is on an iPhone, my dad, my stepmom, my son has an iPad. It's all through the family account, so right. I have to approve stuff if you want to download something on there, and it's
how they lock you in, man.
I know, and it's it's just like 3 or 4 years ago, I bucked the trend and I got an Android phone. Then after a while, I was like, I kind of want an iPhone again. So I got an iPhone. But it always happens, like every couple years when I come due for an upgrade, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make the switch. I'm going to switch to Android. And I've done it a couple times. But I always keep coming back to the iPhone. And it's like, I thought about doing it again this time. I'm like, I'm going to get like a Pixel.
You're just going to go back.
But see, yeah, that's the thing. And I'm like, but this time I thought about it. But then I thought about it briefly. But then as the time came and it got to the point where I could actually upgrade, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna do it. It's
iPhone.
It's not worth it.
So I'm doing I've never had an iPhone. Technically, I have an iPhone. Really old. I don't even know. And it was like my brother's old one, and the only reason I have it was because there's a game I really wanted to play that was only on iPhone. Hexiled, that's what it's called. Really fun game if you like word games. Anyway, so I never had service on it though, so I've always used Android. My first Android was a Moto X, and then it's progressed from there, and now I have the or Droid X, I think it was at the time. And now I've got like the Pixel 4, and it came time to upgrade around Thanksgiving last year. And like my wife and I were just like, how about if we don't upgrade? Let's just run these phones into the ground. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't need to. The previous years, sometimes it really has like gotten to the point where I'm like, yeah, especially with my Motorola phones and the Samsung ones, when that like 2 or 3 months before I came due to renew it, they started dragging really bad. And I would like delete apps and delete everything that I could and strip it down and factory reset and all that stuff. And it just still was terrible. And then, the whole throttling stuff came out and I was like, ooh, well, that's what's happening. But no lag on my Pixel 4 so far, XL. Runs great. How old is it?
Well, I guess Pixel 4, and they're up to 6 now?
Yeah.
So, wow. That is admirable.
So that's what I'm trying for.
I mean, I could have easily done that with the iPhone, with my iPhone that I had before, because it was still fine. Now, I'm spoiled in a way because my work pays for a lot of, that affords me the ability to not have to think too much about upgrading because like all my work, pays for a lot of this. If I was on my own, or if if it was just on the family, paying for all of it myself, I'm like, and it still worked. And I think the phones just overall they've gotten better to where they're not as they don't crap out like you said around when your upgrade date.
Well, that was like a push for the Pixels too, at least for the software, is like they're continuing very active updates and support for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. So, and it's true. Like I'm in the beta program for mine, so I'm running like 2 iterations ahead or so, and
yeah, cool. Yeah. Apple and Google are good about supporting their hardware. Even if it's not the latest and greatest. So we've discussed this. I don't know if did we discuss this on the podcast? We were off mic. We're recording.
Maybe
a while ago. So, okay, a couple things that I thought of. One thing that I think would be really cool to try, and I've been jonesing to try, but I can't. Surface phone. Have you seen that? The boop.
Oh yeah, the Foldy.
Yeah, and they just came out with the second one.
I think I just saw one in the wild on Wednesday, actually. Really? Yeah.
So it's like, it's not the greatest flip phone, or not flip phone, like the fold phones, like, because those Samsung and whatever is.
Yeah. It was a fold phone of some kind. I don't know which one it was, but.
It was, it's got the, it's not like the, what do you call it, hamburger?
Right.
Hot dog.
It's the hot dog one.
Yeah. And it wasn't like, it's not that great of a phone. It's like the features weren't great, and the only reason I'd want to try it is just kind of the novelty. I'm like, oh, it's a Microsoft Surface.
Yeah,
I like Microsoft Surfaces.
So I didn't even know that they were doing a Surface phone. Like I thought the Microsoft phone ecosystem was just, they let it die because
they did for a while, and then they came
the Windows
out with the
phones
Surface
were
phone.
so.
But I mean, it's Android. I mean, they run Android on it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, in theory, it's cool because like, oh, you can get like the Surface Pen and get the Surface earbuds. It's just a scam to get you to buy all this Microsoft crap, like everything is. But I'm like, but you know, that would be cool. I think just to try it. I mean, I think it would be fine because it's still like Android and runs all the mainstream stuff, so it's not going to hurt too much.
Nah, you'd be all right.
But I think you can pick up the original ones for like, you can buy them brand new for like $700.
Well, it's not terrible in the
not a terrible price
cell phone world
for buying the like outright.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So that was one thing. So many other things. We could talk about this forever. Another thing that has been, you talking about word games. Have you tried the Wordle?
No,
thing?
I haven't.
So I did it. So we were on vacation last week. We flew back on Friday, last Friday. And I was like, Wordle. I'm like, you know what? I've been hearing all about this. I'm going to check it out. I'm like, oh, okay. So I Google it, and it's like, oh, it's New York Times. It's on their website. I'm like, oh, cool. It's this grid. I'm like, it's just like this row of like six row of
5 letters across.
6 rows, 5 letters across. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell do I do? And I'm like, oh, so I just like guess a word. So I'm like, cool. And you hit enter, and it's like Wheel of Fortune, where, you know, Vanna White goes over and like bloop, bloop, bloop. Well, except it tells you like, okay, so like this letter's not in the word at all. This one is, it'll be like gray. And then if it's yellow, it means that letter is in the word, but it's in the wrong spot. And if it's green, then that means it is in the right spot. So basically you have 6 guesses.
Yeah.
And
so I've actually played, it's funny because I played a manual version of this years ago with Alexa. She was like, yeah, there's a word game that my family likes to play once in a while, and here's the rules. And I was like, oh, cool, what's this called? She's like, I don't know, we call it our word game. And I was like, oh, cool. So then this Wordle stuff came out, and I was like, wait a minute, this sounds familiar.
Did you ask her about it?
No.
Should.
I will.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I can see why it's a phenomenon. People like it because it's like, so you complete it. Like if you guess it in time, you know, then you get it right, and then it gives you your statistics. Like, oh, it took you. Oh my goodness, the Google Doodle is Wordle. No joke. I Google. Are you doing this on purpose? Because I Googled Wordle, and now the Google thing is.
I have a Google phone. They're probably listening.
Now it says goalie. Oh my goodness. Google. You can cut some of this out.
Interesting, because my Google Doodle is not Wordle. It is chickenpox related.
Now see if I go to google.com. Yeah. Google, you have like upped your game. You're like giving us doodles that are like specific to our searches. What if I search for football? Nope, it's this chickenpox thing. Maybe they did it because Wordle is a phenomenon. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you Google it?
It's like Flappy Bird.
God, that was such a garbage game. It was stupid.
It was. It was just.
It's like, hey, this is cool. It's flat. Oh, it's dumb.
I think, and it's really just like a way to like foster competition, though.
What
like
high score did you get on it?
Well, it reminds me of like the old arcade games, though. Where you got to put your initials up on the high score, and
I mean, it has some appeal to it, and I played it for a little bit, but then I'm just like, it's got no like staying power. You're just like, okay, this cultural phenomena is over. I don't want to do it anymore.
It's over and overrated.
That's interesting about the family word game.
Yeah, so I was like, oh no, this totally sounds familiar. Oh, it's got to be that, right? So yeah, I haven't asked her yet. I should ask her if she's played Wordle, because
you should check it out, man.
I've thought about it. I haven't done it. It's kind of interesting because it's like once and done, right? It's not in our era of like rewatching and repeat and doing stuff as much as you want. It's like you can do one Wordle for the day,
per day,
and that's it.
Yeah, and they have a timer. They're like, next Wordle available in 14 hours.
Which is just kind of wild.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. Oh no, New York Times faces controversy after making changes to Wordle. What are you doing to my Wordle?
Did they use a controversial word like,
I don't know,
moist?
What?
People are uncomfortable with that word.
Drip.
Also with like crusty.
The clown?
Yeah.
Moist.
I know people who like they can't handle either of those words, and
Moist.
it's just.
Oh, we should. So speaking of like side projects, we get into like ASMR, and we could be like, "That's so moist," and then they do this. We'll be like, "Moist, yeah. Do you want to hear me eating spaghetti and stroking the microphone?"
Those videos make me uncomfortable.
Speaking of moist,
I don't know if I could do one because of how like cringy they are to me.
Yeah. So is it like chalkboard, like fingernails on a chalkboard thing, or is
I'd
it
rather
just,
have that.
You're just like, this is. So that's how it bothers you, though.
It does. Yeah, it's that same kind of full body reaction to it. Because I was like, let's see what this is about. I'm kind of curious. And the ones that bother me the least are the bread ones, when they're like, oh, the bread, it's so like firm, and let's just break into it, and then you hear it. Like, oh, what a great sound. Those ones bother me the least, but all the other ones, I just like, I'm like, this makes me so uncomfortable.
Like, okay, I've seen a few of them, and like, so my son was watching, he liked watching YouTube videos about like toys and stuff, and like, Thomas the Train and other things, and one of it was, have you seen like what do they call it? Like, it's the sand, like as a toy, like sand, the colored sand.
Yeah, it's the kinetic sand. And then they like make something, and then they like cut it.
Like they're cutting cake or something. It's like yeah. And so a couple of those popped up, and we would just watch them like, cutting through, and like, oh, it's like yellow, black, blue, blah, blah. And be like,
it's so weird.
So, yeah, I guess, people can have YouTube careers based on a lot of different concepts, and
yeah, I mean,
one of them.
That's fine. If people enjoy that, that's fine. I don't know that it hurts you. Maybe in a few years we'll discover, and they're like, oh yeah, remember those ASMR videos?
Your brain just screwed.
Melted your brain.
You'd be like, moist.
Yeah.
Man, how the heck did we get here? We're talking about cell phones. All because you had to get a phone call.
I did. I took a phone call. Canceled my coffee appointment tomorrow, but that means that maybe I'll go down to Mana Games for coffee tomorrow.
Oh, Mana, like manna from heaven? Mana? Mint?
Sure. I'm guessing it's more like mana as in tap mana in Magic the Gathering.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
It's a local gaming store in Lincoln, Nebraska that
Mana?
you can rent tables. They've got gaming tables.
Is that the one that we were talking about before?
They do coffee and some food, and they have a huge game library. And you can pay it's like $5 to have table time.
We're still looking for sponsors, so
yeah, maybe if I go and I talk to the proprietor again, I'll slide that in there.
Maybe we could just carve out our own little like corner of that place and be like, this is our podcast studio / gaming room.
They have a like a private-ish room you can use.
We could live stream a GURP session.
Could. Well, as soon as you're ready to run one, Nate. Oh, we brought it back. That's right.
I was thinking you would do it, but
all right, fine.
Or we would live stream one of yours, but
yeah, we'd live stream our face-off.
Yeah. Okay. We were talking about the Super Bowl.
Talking about the Super Bowl,
and we were. So it was a good game. It was an exciting game.
It was.
I was rooting for the Kitty Cats.
I was definitely rooting for the Bengals as well, although I knew right at the beginning, Rams were going to win.
Why?
Because the Bengals won the coin toss. Statistically.
Yeah. They even showed that on the screen.
They did.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, before they made that announcement, in my head I was like, I wonder what the statistics are for, like, you know, winning the toss. Is that good or bad? You know, if you were to believe in that kind of statistical superstition. And it was like, oh yeah, they're more likely to lose the game if you win the coin toss. And it was like, and the Bengals win the coin toss. And I was like, ooh.
Oh, it's over.
I had already said I was rooting for the Bengals. I can't switch now.
Well, yeah, and they lost.
They did.
It was a good game. Came down to one play.
It really did.
Aaron Donald, he made the stop. Then he came up and he was like, put a ring on this finger because we won.
I know, and I was like, do you think he's thinking of the song? They're like, what song? I was like, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Apparently they liked it. I did that dance earlier, and my son gave me a very weird look. He was doing the little, like, you know, hands down thing, the little, I don't know what to call that.
I see it in my head.
Yeah, I don't have a good name for that dance. Anyway, I don't have a bad name for it, actually. Anyway. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking when he was, you know, pointing at his finger and doing that. Yeah. I was like, yeah.
He's telling, it was like, NFL, put a ring on it.
Yeah.
We won.
Yeah. I will say that, like, that last play, though, I don't know any of their names, and it doesn't matter because I'm not going to learn them. Sorry, players. But, like, the last play when the QB had the ball, the Bengal had the ball, and he was getting sacked, and he was, like... The Ram was spinning him in the air, and he, like, chucked the ball. I was like, man, as it's going in my head, it was, like, slow motion. I was like, oh, man, if one of the Bengals could catch this, like, what a comeback. What a play. And he almost had it, but then he didn't.
Yeah. That was the last play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he basically got sacked, but he got the ball away.
Yeah.
And that, it was... I always like to root for the underdogs. And I've been that way for a long time. Plus, I'm a Dolphins fan, which, you know, brings its own heartache.
Underfish.
Yeah. So, I mean, but the Bengals, I was like, so the Rams had scored. The Bengals have, you know, decent amount of time. They can go down and score. And they were moving the ball.
Yeah.
But then it's like first down, you know, they gain a few yards. Second down, a little bit more, but then not enough for first down. Then it's like 3rd and 1, they get stopped. And I'm like, oh, man, it's really coming down to it. I'm like, man, if they get stopped here. And they got stopped. And I was like, no. Yeah, it was a good game. Cooper Kupp won the Super Bowl MVP. I don't know if they still send him to Disneyland. Give him a car. I don't know. I don't know what the Super Bowl MVP gets.
That's it. Maybe it's just a title.
But he had a great game. I think he caught a couple touchdowns. He was like far and away the best wide receiver this season in the NFL.
Was he?
He was prolific. And he got 1 vote for MVP. Tom Brady got like 10.
Of course he did.
Aaron Rodgers got like 25 or something. So it's like, you know, Cooper Kupp, feel like he should have gotten a little bit more recognition for that MVP for the league. But he won the Super Bowl and got Super Bowl MVP. So I'm like, I would much rather have a Super Bowl ring and a Super Bowl MVP and not get the league MVP, because it's like Aaron Rodgers is like, yeah, I'm the MVP, but I didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Rip. So,
how many votes did Joe Montana get?
How many Super Bowls?
How many votes this year did Joe Montana get for?
Oh,
probably a lot.
I think he got 0.
Oh, disappointing.
Josh.
Not a lot of names I can pull out in the football world. That's one of them.
You're about
20 years too late. 25.
Yeah, 27.
Yeah.
I don't remember when he retired, but
it's been a while.
Okay, I googled what does the Super Bowl MVP get. This is from 2017. In addition to winning the MVP trophy, past Super Bowl MVPs have traditionally received cars. In 2016, that unspoken precedent appeared to have been broken. Oh, 2015, Tom Brady got MVP in the Super Bowl. He won a Chevy Colorado truck.
Huh.
He gave it to cornerback Malcolm Butler, who sealed the Patriots' victory of the Seahawks with a game-winning interception.
Wow, that's nice of him.
So, I guess I don't know if they are... What they get now?
Yeah, maybe it's not a thing anymore.
Did Cooper Cup get for winning the MVP for the final game of the NFL season, also known as the Super Bowl? Is Google gonna like that?
No. No results.
No. It just gives me like Cooper Cup MVP results. Kids, adults, don't Google like that because it's bad. You got to be efficient when you Google. You don't want to type novel in the search.
You do.
I suppose unless your search term, even then. See, this is an example of what not to do.
Yeah.
And I think it succeeded.
I think this game was like really well paced, but in some ways the entertainment value almost suffered because of it, because the teams were really well matched. It wasn't like, this team was running away and then this team was running away. It was really give and take, which I guess if you were into football, then that makes a lot of the tension grow, because it really did come down to like final play, final touchdown, final, So that was kind of cool. That's always much more better.
Well,
than like a blowout game.
Right. Blowouts are probably the worst.
Yeah.
Now,
unless it's your team that's like running away with it.
Yeah. I mean, you'll take that, no problem. In a heartbeat, you're like, yes, I'll take that.
Yeah. It's only rebellion if you lose.
But like, what about really close like defensive battles? Because like there's always like this argument or this like, it's like, oh yeah, everybody loves offense, everybody loves scoring, right? But not as many people appreciate a game with two good defenses because the scoring is low.
True.
Like a couple years ago, it was last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. There was like one touchdown in the whole game. It was like a handful. It was like not even a handful. A few field goals and a touchdown, and it was close, and there wasn't really a lot of scoring. So it's like, some people would say that's not very exciting, but other people, I guess, more like purist, not even purist, but like big football fans would be like, well, that was a good display of defensive football.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like everybody, but it's like the broader audience likes offense. You like scoring, like in any sport. You like seeing action, stuff happen, points accumulate. Unless you're golfing, it's
easier to cheer when there's a touchdown than it is when like the defense succeeds.
Sure,
because it's like it's not the absence of a score that you're cheering for is harder to cheer for than having the score change in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly big plays on defense. It's like a big like sack, kind of like this one, like the play where he was on, like Aaron Donald got Joe Burrow, took him down, almost sacked him, forced him to throw a lame-o pass that really didn't have much of a chance.
It almost worked. It was. I mean,
it would have been sweet if it did.
It was close,
but it was desperation.
Total desperation. But I also just like when we were watching it, I was like, man, the wherewithal for that guy to get the ball that close to one of his teammates while he's being taken down, I think shows that he's. Again, keep in mind, I don't do the sports, but I was like, we should keep an eye on this guy. He's gonna.
Now, Josh, you would be correct.
He's gonna go places.
Joe Burrow is very young.
What's his name?
Joe
Burrow.
Burrow.
So when I do play fantasy football, as you know, despite not watching it.
I did invite you to 2 leagues? Or
I
one?
think so. I think I did.
No, 1.
3 leagues. 2 or 3 leagues this year, and I think that was too many for me to really grapple with. But I think I'm going to try and draft him next year, Joe Burrow. That's going to be my second pick after I get my kicker.
So he won the Heisman Trophy in 2020 at LSU, Louisiana State.
Nice.
and he won the Heisman. He won the national championship. So it like went out in a blaze of glory. Declared for the NFL draft. Was drafted like number 1 overall, I think, by the Bengals. And was doing well, but he got injured. So he played very few games last year in his rookie season. He like had I don't remember if it was a knee ligament or something.
Wow.
But he was out for the season after that.
So is this only his second season playing? Dang.
So first full season. So he was still, it was almost like he still was kind of like a rookie because he didn't have that many games under his belt.
Yeah.
So you are correct. He is a very good player, and he's going to be around for a long time. He does have a connection to Nebraska as well.
Oh.
I had heard that he considered going to Nebraska. And also his father used to be an assistant coach for the Huskers.
No kidding.
I learned this while Googling during the Super Bowl.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, the action was good. It was a good game. I was disappointed because the underdog team, the Bengals, didn't win. I thought it'd be cool, for them to get a ring or get the Lombardi Trophy. But I mean, it was also cool for the Rams to do it too. I mean, even though they were kind of like a super team, I mean, they were built. I mean, almost like destined to go to the Super Bowl. It would be disappointing if they didn't make it there. Kind of,
because sometimes it comes together, and you've got like a solid offense, solid defense, and you. It's cool. It is kind of cool. I can appreciate that, like from a strategy point of view, because I have noticed there are teams that focused really heavily on one or the other, and I appreciate being in the position where sometimes you probably have to. But yeah, it was very clear that the coaches for these teams did a lot of work to get them to this point. It wasn't like I joked earlier about the teams being like, how did we get here?
What happened?
What happened? This is not supposed to happen. But honestly, you can tell. I felt, even in my untrained eyes, you could tell that a lot of work and deliberate
professional hard work,
decisions,
study.
Yeah.
Now, so another connection. Sorry, I'll get off this kick here. Another reason why I was rooting for the Bengals, underdog, Nebraska connection. Another Nebraska connection. The coach, Zach Taylor, used to be a quarterback in Nebraska.
Oh.
I actually have a Husker jersey. His Husker jersey, like, they didn't put names on him. They used to not do that because they couldn't profit off of their likeness.
Right.
Just changed now. But it has his number, and I actually saw his final game in Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City.
No kidding.
The Big 12 championship. I believe it was against Oklahoma. So yeah, so that's another reason why I was rooting for him. Also, well, so a reason why it's cool or a cool thing that the Rams won. Matt Stafford, the quarterback for the Rams, languished for like 12 years in Detroit, which is kind of like hell on earth for football, like pro football players.
Is it?
Although it's getting better.
You don't want to be a Lion.
You don't. You don't.
Wow.
So he's obviously a really good player, but it's like he was on a lot of bad teams, and like the coaches and the front office didn't put together a good team like they have with the Rams. So the Rams sent a bunch of draft picks to the Lions and got him for this season.
Huh.
And they sent their quarterback to the Lions, Jared Goff. So it's a cool story for Matt Stafford to finally get a Super Bowl ring, because he's, it's like so you almost want to say like, oh, he's too talented to not have won a ring. So he finally got one. So that's a cool angle too. So
yeah.
Should we move on to the commercials?
I guess.
I know you. So you don't sound too excited about this.
Like the commercials used to be like half the reason you'd watch the Super Bowl.
Right.
Almost.
It's part of the spectacle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like companies spend millions of dollars on like a 30-second ad.
I mean, I remember seeing, I can remember iconic commercials that were like unveiled at the Super Bowl. Like last year's when they revealed Paramount Plus, and it was like, I forget who it was. Patrick Stewart maybe was like leading all these celebrities up the mountain, and it was like each commercial was like another part in the story as they got higher and higher and bringing people together. to like Paramount Plus, and because all their stuff is on there and whatever.
I don't even remember that commercial.
Or like, so the one that really has stuck with me is a really old one, because it was back when Christopher Reeve was still alive, and it was a commercial for research into like spinal trauma, and how like the future, basically it was like a hopeful commercial of like, in the future we won't have to worry about these sort of things. And then it was a commercial of him, Christopher Reeve, who played Superman in the live action movies way back in the day, who had a horse accident, became a quadriplegic, neck down, paralyzed. There was a commercial where he was like walking, so he like rolls up, and I was like, oh, it's Christopher Reeve, like my childhood Superman. And then he gets up, and I freaked out, because I was like, oh, holy cow, what is going on? And it was like movie magic that they made it happen with, which is fine, because it was meant to be hopeful and whatever. And then I found out later that like that commercial, at the time, the average Super Bowl commercial cost like $2 million. That commercial, $4 million.
Wow.
And so, there's like commercials that were just stuck in my mind. Some good, some bad. The puppy monkey baby was creepy as all get out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, YouTube that nonsense, because you should suffer just like I am. Puppy monkey baby, puppy monkey baby, puppy monkey baby.
That's rattling something in my brain. I vaguely recall that.
Or like the old Budweiser commercials. Yeah.
The Bud Bowl or the...
Yeah. And this year it was just like a bunch of celebrities in a bowling alley.
Oh, the Michelob Ultra one.
Yeah, I was like, this is dumb.
I don't know. It was just... I don't know. It was kind of... I don't know. It's like it kind of had that like cool-ish factor. I mean, it was like Peyton Manning bowling and Steve Buscemi giving bowling shoes, and
I think that would have been a cool commercial 5 years ago or more.
Yeah,
because like, it was all like slow-mo kind of smoky bar, just I don't know, cool people being cool. Don't you want to be cool too? But like, the era of that is kind of, we've shifted to like, what's cool is being a nerd and being a geek.
Maybe it's cool because it's like a retro, like it's a callback.
Maybe. I think it would have been a lot. I think a bolder choice. I know it's like rich for me to like critique a commercial, but hey, it would have been like to have celebrities and they're like showing up and you don't know what they're there for, and then they sit down and they're playing like D&D. Like that would have been sweet. And then it would have been like that. Then they've been like, whatever, Michelob Ultra or whatever.
This beer was brewed in the vicinity of hops and natural flavors. It's kind of like LaCroix for beer.
Yeah, there you go. Well, because like D&D campaigns, a lot of times they start with, or RPG campaigns in general, they start with like people meeting in a tavern, right? Mm-hmm. So it would have been hilarious, in my opinion. Maybe it's just me. Like all these celebrities are in there, and then maybe you see them like in costume, like as their characters. Coming into the bar, and it's Steve Buscemi is the bartender or whatever, and he's like, "Hello, travelers. What can I get you?" And like, "Oh, is it Michelob Ultra?" Like, that would have been a hilarious thing. Like in this fantasy universe, their beer is so important to them that they have to have it in their nonsensical fantasy role playing game. Like,
Josh, I like this thought. You really need to. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, like, morally or ethically or whatever, but I think you should pitch this to Michelob.
I probably should.
I mean, maybe I will if you don't.
Maybe you should. Why don't you do it in the name of the Open Eclectic?
There you go. Oh, we could be like, this could be our big break. We could be like Hollywood consultants on a commercial.
Yeah. I think there was opportunity to do something.
Yeah, because it's like, what were they really doing? Like, okay, so it's these people hanging out in a bowling alley. It's like, oh, this is a famous athlete. Okay, another one. Sweet. Okay, they're drinking Michelob Ultra. Cool. So what I thought was going to happen when there was this kind of mysterious person that came in that turned out to be Serena Williams, which is was cool.
Sure.
I thought it was going to be like a callback to like Kingpin. I thought it was going to be like Bill Murray. I was like, oh my God, it'd be so sweet. Bill Murray walks in.
That would have been better.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been better.
But I'm like, I was like, oh, it's Serena Williams, cool. But I'm like, I wish it was Bill Murray that came in.
Yeah, and why? I don't know. Serena it didn't make sense to me, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, they're all like superstars in their field or whatever, but to have her be this mystery person coming in seemed.
But what was the point of the commercial anyway? I mean, it was just like, okay, you had Peyton Manning, Steve Buscemi, who else was Alex Morgan, I think, the women's U.S. soccer player.
Yeah, I think so.
Brooks Koepka, golfer. So there was a second commercial that was in the same setting, and I didn't know who it was at the time because I don't really follow golf that much. It was Brooks Koepka, who's a good golfer apparently, and I don't know if it is his caddy or if it's just someone. I don't know if it was his actual caddy who caddies for him.
Yeah.
But they were talking about, what were they talking about? They're like, Michelob Ultra. Yeah. Should I go with Michelob? It's 0 calories. Yeah.
0 calories?
Yeah.
0 calories.
Yeah.
0 calories. 0 calories. Yeah. It was.
Yep. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were really going for that cool, like, 70s dirty bowling alley vibe, which they pulled off. But it's like, at the same time, you're like, whatever.
Do people like those kind of bowling alleys still? Because I don't.
Well, I feel like it's the beer. They're like, which that doesn't even really match with Michelob Ultra. If it was like Miller Lite,
right?
Miller Lite is like, you're like, yeehaw, I'm drinking Miller Lite. Now Michelob Ultra, they're like, yeah, what are you like, watching your calories there? You don't want to drink too much.
It was like the attitude that all of the athletes had in that commercial was like, this is a sophisticated beer, right? But the atmosphere did not portray that at all. So I don't know.
Because like Michelob Ultra pitches itself as like the beer for active people because it's low calorie compared to like a non-light beer, like a regular beer.
Yeah,
it's like 90 calories or 0 calories or whatever. It's only like 5-10 carbs, if you're on the keto diet, it doesn't bump your carbs up. So like I remember they used to have like commercials with what's his face? Lance Armstrong? Yeah. It was like, oh yeah, you can run a marathon and when you're done, you're going to pound Michelob Ultras.
I vaguely remember those.
Yeah.
So what did you think then about, because the other one that really stuck out to me was the Lay's commercials.
Can we put a pin in that?
Yeah.
Real quick? Okay. I wanted to mention one of the commercials, like one that I found really funny.
Oh, yeah.
The I think it was Quicken, like Rocket Mortgage. It was the one with Kate McKinnon, the Barbie. No, it wasn't Kate McKinnon. No, sorry, it wasn't Kate McKinnon. It was Anna Kendrick.
Yes.
Where they're like coming in and like bidding on houses and like, oh, Barbie keeps getting outbid and
then like He-Man came in at the end there. It was like, can I get in on that? Yes. Okay, so that commercial I did like.
I enjoyed that one a lot.
That one was
because Anna Kendrick she's just so cute and she's such a good actor and she's funny.
Yeah.
And
she sells it really well.
Yeah.
And see, that was like an example of like the nerd thing going on a little bit. And
because she's playing dolls with this girl, this little girl, retro. And they're just and then
like Barbies and He-Man. That's pretty classic toy stuff.
And the little girl, she did a really good job too. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like that was just
whatever the Oscars of the commercial world is, give that girl one.
Yes, that was a well casted, just well done. I thought it was very funny.
I didn't realize that Barbies had so many joints now. Like when my sister had them, they were just like the arms went straight up and down, and
they're just
so did the legs, and then the head turned, and that was it.
Was Toy Story Barbie like that?
Yeah, she was a.
Okay, so like, could she bend her elbows? Like, bend at the elbows.
Toy Story is weird because like the rules for how toys move in that is really weird.
It doesn't. It's not like
it's kind
hard.
of.
It doesn't follow like to the letter.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, which is fine. It's kind of like how your childhood mind interprets it. So
sure,
it's fine. Yeah, so you're right. That was
very funny.
That was a great commercial. I enjoyed it.
So the Lay's one, that one. So you're like, okay, Judd Apatow, not Judd Apatow,
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen worked with Judd Apatow
Frequently, yeah.
Yes. So you see those two guys, and you're like, oh, I like those guys.
I don't.
I guess I don't know. Like Paul, how can you not like Paul Rudd?
No, I love Paul Rudd.
Seth Rogen, I can understand. Paul Rudd, though, like
I gotta like dose him a little, just.
Yeah, but he's like
I want to like.
He's more
him.
clean cut now. It's like he's old and he's middle aged, and he's not, just a stupid. Portraying a stupid, stoner, like sloppy looking dude. He's got like short hair and a salt and pepper stubble and glasses.
Yeah.
Marrying his like spectral nightmare ring girl.
Yeah. So I will say the funniest part of that, because it was like a multi-part series for that commercial as well, I think.
Well, did they have more than one commercial, or
yeah,
there was just a bunch of parts for the one commercial? Like they cut to a lot of
2 or 3 maybe, where it was like stories that led up to the wedding thing. But when he's like, I've never seen any of your movies. He's like, even the one we're in together. I was like, yeah, that was great.
Oh man,
I've actually never watched any of your movies. Yeah.
I thought that was funny. I enjoyed that one.
Seth Rogen for me is weird. Like he either needs to be like a caricature of himself in the movie for me to enjoy it, or he needs to be super far removed from himself. And like anywhere in that middle ground, I'm just like, I don't like him.
So what movies have you liked him in?
Pineapple Express.
Oh, that was a good one. I like that one.
Like that movie was just what a stoner movie. Yeah.
You don't even have to be a stoner to enjoy it.
Or he was in Monsters vs. Aliens. He was one of the monsters.
Oh.
Yeah. He was the like jelly thing.
Was that an animated one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, oh yeah, I don't have a brain. Turns out you don't actually need one. I was like, yeah, it kind of sums him up, doesn't it? Yeah, so, just those are kind of the spectrum for
40-Year-Old Virgin, did you like?
He was okay. It was fine. But like, I actually enjoyed the movie Green Hornet.
Okay.
And that one was okay. I would have probably preferred somebody else, though. Like, as I'm watching it, I was like, eh.
That was a little like a little before the Marvel, like the big superhero push.
Yeah, before it like really exploded. I want to say, yeah, because it was after Iron Man and maybe Iron Man 2.
Hold on, we have access,
but
the internet.
It was again a
Hornet. 2011.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would have been after.
This was after
Iron Man was like 2008,
but it hadn't really like exploded into the MCU yet. I think.
Yeah. There's like they just had like a handful, and they're like, oh, cool, and then it's like little did we know what was coming on the horizon.
No kidding. I enjoyed that movie. I think it was worth watching.
I've never actually seen it.
I thought it was fun. Christoph Waltz.
Oh, I do like him.
I mean, aren't you sold now?
Yep, gotta watch it. Yep. He's in it, and I'll watch it.
I learned he only agreed to be in Django Unchained on the condition that his character would never do anything like bad or like villainous.
Oh, okay.
He had like a purity contract.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that he made.
But that fits though. That fits his character. Yeah, because his character is pretty awesome. Just awesome movie. Yeah. The other green superhero movie. Well, there's other ones. The one I'm thinking of with green in the title.
Green Lantern.
Didn't see that one either. I've heard that one was bad.
It was okay. I don't think it
has our Canadian treasure Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I saw like a short scene from it, like a clip from it, and it looked like the CGI was like blah, like just not great.
It was weird, but honestly, like look at the source material and the concept they were going for, and it's like, was it that weird? I don't think it was. I think it could be argued that was a deliberate step because
like making the CGI like kind of cheesy looking, like or poor looking or whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it.
So
I enjoyed it.
Okay, so you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So you enjoyed the green movies.
Yeah.
Now, what about the non-green titled, but about a green being? The
Shrek.
Hulk? Well, yes.
We
We can talk about Shrek.
Oof.
Shrek Hulk.
Yeah.
We can go down that road.
I have never seen the Hulk movies. I've seen him in the Avengers movies, but I haven't seen like the Ed Norton one.
What?
I know.
Or the Eric Bana? Eric Banana Bana?
I did watch the original Hulk TV show with Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk.
I've probably seen reruns of that a long time ago when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Well, they were reruns because I wasn't alive.
Yeah, same.
Was I alive?
Was I alive? Alexa thinks we were.
Oh yeah. Thinks we're like 60 years old or something.
I've been called old man so many times in the last several days.
It's happening. It's happening. What? It. Anyway.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I enjoyed the first Hulk movie with Eric Bana. It was like I think it was Ang Lee that made that. A lot of people didn't like it, I guess. But I thought it was all right.
Huh.
Clearly, they didn't bring him back. They didn't bring him back when they made it again with Ed Norton. And I thought he was okay. An interesting choice for the Hulk.
Well, it kind of gives you extra contrast because Ed Norton is scrawny.
Yeah.
He's like small and scrawny. So to get like huge and ripped is kind of a fun play, I think.
Ruffalo is pretty... The current Hulk is not... I don't know. He's more like kind of like a pudgy. I don't think he... sorry, Mark. Mark, don't get mad at me. He has the appearance, or like I get the impression he feels like a chubby, just like schlubby guy. But
he's the most convincing, one of the most convincing characters in the MCU, I think, because you're right. He looks average.
That's what I'm going for. Yeah, he's
totally
just
like
he's
a
just
scientist.
a dad bod, just regular looking.
Puts his
dude.
little glasses on and he's all doing stuff.
Then he turns into this giant freaking green guy.
Yeah. Got any pants I can borrow?
I'm angry all the time.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I think he's an underrated character, honestly.
I don't know. I'm going to have to re-up the Disney Plus subscription and finish watching the movies. Watching all the Marvel movies.
Yeah. Our next one is Iron Man 3 and...
I saw that one.
Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hadn't seen that like when it came out. So when I was watching it through like last year when I still had Disney Plus, that was the first time I'd seen it.
I saw it in the theater.
Wow.
Because I was in California for I had an uncle who died, and so my brother and I took our cousin to go see it because he was real young, and they just like let him out of school for a week or something because So anyway, we took him to go see that, and it was. I mean, if you want to watch that story, I would suggest you watch The Incredibles instead. It's the same thing.
Yeah, because that's like...
Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Iron Man 3. Or The Incredibles. I don't know. Either one.
I don't think I've seen the second Incredibles movie.
I haven't seen it all the way through either. I started to watch it, and my kids kept talking through it, and because they had seen it already, and I was like, you know what? I'm turning this off. And they were like, no, we'll be quiet. And I was like, no, seriously. I'm not in a mindset where you can talk through a movie that I haven't seen before.
Yeah. Agreed. I can't. I have to pay attention. I can't like half or 3/4 watch something. I got to be like
focused.
Got to be focused on it.
That's like the joy. That's the joy of seeing it in the theater for me, is because it's like a library, like the expectation. So you be quiet and you watch it.
You get so pissed at people who look at their phones or talking or whatever.
Except one time when I saw Two Towers. For whatever reason, so I was sitting next to somebody that we knew from our college days, and she chatted through the whole movie. And I don't mean like comments like, "Ooh, that was cool," or like oh, can't believe that diverged so much, or whatever. It was like, can you believe they just didn't even like follow the book with that scene? That seemed a little ridiculous, don't you think? Why didn't they do? And it was like, and I was like trying to be nice, and then I just like I caved and started like talking back to her and whatever. And afterwards, the other two people I was seeing it with turned to me and said, yeah, we made sure that you sat in between that friend and us. And I was like, you are so mean.
That's dirty. They did you dirty there.
They did.
I mean that totally would have ruined it for me. Like,
it was bad.
I was like I can see if it's a movie that I had seen already, or if it was like back in the days of like, I don't know, the dollar theater. It's like you don't care as much or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, even in the dollar theater, I would have been like, shut up.
This was a midnight showing.
Yeah. Like, it would have totally ruined it. I'm like, I'm assuming you went and saw it again, right?
I can't remember if I saw it in theater again, actually.
Like,
but like, there
were
just
you
came
able
a
to
point,
pay attention? Like, at all?
Mostly. There came a point where I was just like, you kind of have to like embrace your fate a little bit. And so that's what I did.
You're just like, yeah, that is weird.
When I went and saw Return of the King, I went with different people though, all together. And
I would never go to a movie with that person again.
I think I went with you. Did we see Return of the King with like Eric Robinson?
Possibly.
With Eric?
Possibly.
Don't know if he wants his name blasted out to our two listeners.
Doesn't care. You can cut it out, right?
Yeah. I can.
Dude,
Eric. Beep.
Just like reverse it.
Redacted.
They're redacted poorly. Like.
Audio file missing. Yeah, it's when I won my like Return of the King. I won like a T-shirt that had Return of the King on the shoulder, and they gave out like door prizes and stuff. Maybe
I didn't go with you to the like.
Maybe we just.
I don't think you went because I didn't go with you to any of those like midnight showings or whatever. What was it called? Line Party? That thing.
Yeah, so I got in trouble for calling it a line party, even though that was the name of it.
Why?
I said that to my friend's mom. I was like, oh, I'm really excited. She was like, what are you doing this weekend or whatever? I was like, oh, I'm really excited. I'm going to a line party. And she goes, what does that mean to you? And I was like,
what?
Okay. So I explained it. I was like, everybody, you have to wait in line for a really long time, and we're starting really early to go see Return of the King or whatever. Maybe it was Two Towers, I can't remember. And she goes, oh, that's encouraging to me. Yes, you should definitely go to that, but maybe consider just calling it the midnight showing for your movie. And I was like, okay.
What did she think what did it mean to her?
Yeah, I was like, why? This is a woman I respect. I'm in contact with her to this day. Mm-hmm. Very close. Text her on Mother's Day. And she goes, well, to some of us from a certain era, that means you're going to a cocaine party and you're going to do lines.
Yes! We're going to ride the rails, baby.
I looked at her and I said, and you thought I was going to go to one?
Wow. Maybe.
Because she knows that at that time, so we've established before, like, I'm a teetotaler, right? Don't drink, never have. Mm-hmm. And I was a minor at the time also. But her husband was still like, listen, if you're going to drink, go ahead. Here's what you can have in my house. Just make sure you stay the night. Because you want me to drive drunk, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, nah, I'm good. So, like, anyway, it was just like, it's weird.
That's interesting. So, maybe... Now, I don't want to be disrespectful to this person. Maybe they had been to some line parties in the past. Probably not. But
I've actively chosen to not speculate on that.
Not pursue that line of thinking.
I mean, it's been years now. I should ask.
So when you said that just now, and you're telling me like that she was like, wait, what? I was like, in my head, the rusty wheels turning. I was like, wonder if they're thinking like cocaine lines. I'm like,
apparently.
Wow. How old were you?
Oh, geez. We could do the math.
How prevalent? Prevalent do they think that cocaine usage is in Lincoln, Nebraska?
Was I in like literal terms or in Alexa terms?
Let's go literal first.
Okay. I was probably 17.
So 16. Alexa, you'd be like 37.
So I would have been, yeah, I think maybe 40. I don't know. Alexa, you brought this on yourself.
Yeah. Man, it's just wow. I mean, obviously it triggered something in her. I mean, like I get like in the 80s cocaine was huge. And
she was concerned, like very concerned
that you
for
were
my
go
well-being.
Snort lines of cocaine.
And I was just appalled because I was like, man, and now I kind of want to know and be like, what did you think of me at that point in my life? Because I wasn't like insanely wild, I didn't think. Maybe I was, though. Maybe I was compared to like my friend, all of my other friends. Maybe I was the wild one.
Yeah, well, no, wow. I mean, it's like I wonder what the thought process was. If it was, I'm like, man.
Maybe she was just having an off day. Maybe she had just watched Scarface.
Could be. He's like, is Josh gonna put his face in a pile of cocaine?
No. Just clear my
powder,
senses.
maybe. Vitamin, whatever it is, the movie people snort. B. Like crushed up stuff.
I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, that was my Lord of the Rings experience.
Yeah. So I always remember you talking about like those midnight shows and like, you know, at the line, getting in line, the line party, and like winning prizes and stuff like that. That seemed really cool. I never went to it with you. So my whole point is that I don't think I was with you when you saw it.
You might not have been. Maybe it was just Eric who was there because he won. I want to say he won like a plaque the size of a small dinner plate.
Really?
That had like the Watcher octopus thing on it.
Oh. Okay.
I went for it hoping that I would be able to answer the best and that somehow everybody else in the theater would not know the answer to the question that was asked because I knew I didn't have the full answer, but you know, I took the risk anyway. And it was like where the question was like, where are the other 7 or 9 seeing stones?
Mm-hmm.
And like,
the Palantirs.
The Palantirs. Like, can you name where all of them are? And I knew where most of them were, but there was like 2 that I was missing. I don't think I could pull it out now, so don't ask. But anyway,
did you? You won. You got it.
I got like a participation prize. That's where I got my shirt,
sweet.
Which I still have. I think
you still wear it, or you tuck it away.
I can't remember the last time I wore it.
Does it fit?
Do I still have it? It was pretty big on me.
Okay.
As was the style in those days.
Also, you were a very skinny.
I was very skinny.
Very skinny child back then.
I was.
Minor.
I was working on the man thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got onto Lord of the Rings.
I don't either. We were talking about movies.
What a great place.
We were talking about movies, and you're talking about how the person who shall not be named was talking a lot.
Oh, yes.
Because we were talking about Marvel movies.
Oh, because my kid. That's right. Because my kids were
kids are
Incredibles
talking,
2, and I still haven't finished it yet, even though I want to, and I just keep ranking other things higher.
So when I went and saw Avatar in the theater, you know,
the blue people one.
Yeah, 3D glasses and everything, like the spectacle. Yeah. There was a lady that wouldn't shut up, like a row, either like further down my row or like ahead of me, and I actually like she just kept talking, and I was just like, hey, like, be quiet. And she stopped talking.
Oh, that's good.
It was nice. She didn't keep talking.
Yeah, I've had two instances in the theater where we've had somebody. When I went and saw Watchmen, and I saw it in the middle of the day on like a Thursday or Friday. Like I had scheduled back when we had like the flex schedule, and you could kind of finesse stuff around. Mm-hmm. I did that so that I could see this like ridiculously long movie in the middle of the day. And somebody brought their like 5 or 6 year old kid to this rated R graphic violence and nudity movie. And like I hadn't seen it before, but I knew going in that the fight scenes were going to be brutal. And this kid was small enough they had to get a booster, and he just like yammered and then cried through a bunch of the movie until finally his dad had to take him out.
There's like there's like sexual assault in that movie. Like
not assault.
A rape.
No.
Yeah.
In Watchmen?
Yeah.
No.
The comedian.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I was thinking of the other full frontal nudity, actually.
The blue guy? Doc, what you call him?
And the Owl Man. blank.
What's his...
Anyway.
Does he have a full frontal?
Yeah.
Owl guy?
Yeah. And what's her name? They do.
The daughter, the product of the comedian and what's her name?
The original Silk Spectre.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. There's like bones
bringing a kid to that?
It was bad. I was appalled. And then when I saw episode 1, Phantom Menace in 3D with Brian, there was a chick, and this was more okay for me because it was like, I don't think anybody went to the theater and saw this movie for the first time.
Which one?
Phantom Menace.
Okay, yeah.
When they were doing the 3D release, which by the way was gorgeous in 3D. Absolutely. If they did a home release of 3D, that would really push home 3D stuff to the next level.
So would this have been a re-release of Phantom? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they didn't have 3D when it first came out.
No, they didn't. We're not very good anyway. Anyway, there's a chick sitting 2 or 3 rows behind and over, so we couldn't hear her a lot, but she was definitely like doing the lines through the whole movie, and that was fine because again, I've seen that movie many times.
She's a super
doing
fan.
It too. She was a super fan, and it wasn't distracting. She was saying it to herself, not to be like.
Not like shouting it out, like, oh, I know what the next line's going to be.
And she was in sync as opposed to like slightly ahead, which is like a bigger issue.
And too much anticipation.
Yeah.
So, funny story. Now, I could have some of these details wrong, but Andy could correct us. So, Andy, if you're listening, or when you're listening, we went and saw The Exorcist. When they re-released The Exorcist.
I remember you guys seeing that, yeah.
So we had to lie to our parents about what movie we were going to see. And we also had to have fake IDs that had a fake birth date on it.
Did you? I forgot about the ID thing.
And all we did is like someone at school, one of our friends at school, like printed off, a valid birth date on our crappy school IDs. And we're like, yeah, here, see? And I guess that was good enough.
It's good enough.
So we got tickets to this movie.
Surprised they carded you at all in those days, honestly.
I don't know how. I don't even know if they did. I can't even remember. I want to say, though, we were at The Exorcist, and I actually got in trouble for going to that movie. I won't go into how, but I got narked on by somebody.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't me.
Nope. I want to say, so we were at this horror movie, about an exorcism.
Yeah.
The devil. God, the devil. Priests. Innocent children. Scared, terrified mothers.
Yeah.
Very dark, and disturbing. I want to say somebody brought their like baby to it, or like there was a kid there, or. So okay, this might be where the details are getting fuzzy. So again, I was like, this was like 50 years ago. I was already like 40 years old when this happened. Alexa.
Yeah.
It was either that, or I want to say now, I think it was more, there were people that were like laughing at it, like just laughing at the movie.
Yeah.
And like Andy and I were like, we were attending a religious school, and we were we went to church all the time, so we're like oh my god, this movie about the devil, and someone's possessed by the devil, and we're like, this isn't funny. We're like, man, I can't believe somebody would maybe it was both things, I don't know.
They could have been, yeah.
But I just like, man, this is like, but even whatever, even like, why would you go to a movie like that and like that's clearly not a comedy?
Yeah.
Even if you're there like even if you're like, oh, we're goofing on it, like whatever, we've seen this like 30 times, this is stupid, or
Yeah.
Like, come on, it's like, it's impolite. It's bad etiquette.
Yeah, I try not to like spoil other people's experiences.
Yeah, and I know
actively.
that there's a lot of there's a lot of people that aren't smart, and there's a lot of people that aren't nice, so it's just like, you encounter them probably every day.
Every day.
Yeah, it's just, you want to go to a movie in a theater, and you want to just have that, like you said, library experience. And it's like, you don't want, anytime somebody like affects that by like turning on their phone or like talking or
Yeah.
laughing at inappropriate, moments, or bringing children in that can't appreciate the film and could possibly be scarred by watching this film.
Yeah. And it's kind of tough because it's different too. So I will own up to being the guy who laughed during a part where nobody else in the theater was laughing. So my mom and I went and saw Shrek 2 in the theater at the theater in Crete, I think, because I lived in Wilbur at the time. So we were like, all right, let's go check it out. It's at our cheap theater here in Wilbur. We'll go see it. And there wasn't like a ton of people in there, but it was still, 50%, let's say, full. So we're watching it, and it's that scene where there's the helicopter that's chasing Shrek and Donkey, but after they've been transformed into the human and the horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
was that the O.J. Simpson joke?
Yeah, and it was the O.J. Simpson joke. We're in pursuit of a white Bronco. And my mom and I died, laughing. That was the funniest thing to us because we were from California. We watched the O.J. trial live, and all the news outlets, that's all they covered for months. Mm-hmm. So that was super ingrained into us, and we were laughing wildly. Literally, not another person in that theater laughed.
Now, do you think that's just because they didn't get it?
I think so.
Are they all like bumpkins who are like, what?
Yeah. Well, the coverage wasn't as intense outside of California.
I will say, when I was in school in Kearney, Nebraska, we watched parts of the trial on TV.
But you watched parts of the trial, but the white Bronco thing was a breaking news story.
Right. They covered it live.
Which again would have been California news stations, not as much in Nebraska.
Right.
And not with the same intensity that it was on. It would have been like a highlight, Mm-hmm. Here it would have been, and today, and you'd see a clip, and instead of hearing the voiceover of In Pursuit of White Bronco, they'd be like, O.J. Simpson led the police on a car chase in his white, It was just a different thing. And so It struck us as hilarious. Nobody else. Not another person laughed. Not a chuckle, not a squeak.
But I mean, it's it had been long enough, you'd think that they would have seen archival footage. They would have heard about it.
It's just one of those weird things that got dropped in that was maybe it did have.
It's weird that it just passed all completely over, or they're just so serious that they.
I don't know.
Nope.
They laughed at other parts, just not that one. But that was the closest I came to a theater experience where I was the one disturbing it for other people.
But it wasn't
a movie,
huh?
It was a funny movie though, so it's not
But it's it wasn't it was inappropriate. I mean, it was a joke.
Yeah,
and you laughed.
It was.
So the movie did its job in that spot.
Yeah. Either that or they were all sports fans who were it's too soon. Unlikely.
Orange juice. OJ. Man, movie stories. I'm trying to think. First, I'm sorry that I ruined your story about the white Bronco because I
fine.
preemptively called it out.
No, it's fine. We've talked about it before. It's honestly one of my favorite stories for as far as my theater going experiences go.
That would be a pretty great experience.
It just ranks up there for me because I still find it funny to this day.
This is a great joke.
It was funny then, and it's funny now.
Except to those people in Crete.
And I still laugh way. I haven't watched. I can't remember when the last time I watched that, but the last time I watched it, I still found that scene, and then it just made it more funny to me.
Yeah, I should rewatch the Shrek movies. It's been a long time since I've seen those.
Yeah. Mike Myers though, he was in a Super Bowl commercial.
Yes, he was.
All
the evil people.
That was crazy. The Austin Powers stuff.
Scott. And he had a baby.
Yeah. No, his name's Trevor or whatever. Those are pretty fun too. It was weird. It was a lot of nostalgic themed commercials.
Yeah.
Even the commercials that were set in the present were nostalgia based, like the Lay's thing and the Barbie and the He-Man and the bowling alley.
Yeah, I think I saw something on Yahoo. They were ranking the commercials, and they were talking about that was part of the kind of a theme of a lot of the commercials.
Yeah,
appealing to that nostalgia. Yeah, the Austin Powers one was pretty funny. That was was a Chevy commercial, I think, for like electric vehicles, because they're like, we're going to save the planet,
And then we're going to take it
then
over.
we're going to take it over.
I was like, yeah, but why would you? No, it's enough. I will say the commercial that stood out the most to me, and I think you know where I'm going with this because I texted you about it,
Yes.
was
Andy will appreciate this.
like the beginning. It just, all of a sudden I heard that familiar theme music from The Sopranos come on. And I've been like semi-checked out, and I locked in, and like everybody else was talking. I was like, you guys need to be quiet now.
Shut up!
I'm like, it's on. Like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I seriously, I was like, they've got to be, because then I saw it was the kid in there instead of Tony, and I was like, oh my word, are we gonna have a sequel show that's like the kids taking over? That could happen. Come on. And they get to the end, it's like, oh, it's just for the car.
Yeah. So see, like, so I was a little behind. So like, I had recorded the game on my DVR because my dad came over to watch, and so we were like, I was a few minutes behind, and so like, not like terribly behind, not like an hour, or just a few minutes. But like, Andy texted me, and he was like, it's like, man, that Sopranos commercial. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because like when I got the text, I was like, the game's still going on. I'm like, huh. So I was like, oh man, there's a commercial coming up. So I was like waiting for it, and it came on, and I was like, oh man, this is it. And I was like, kind of like the same thing as you. I'm like, oh my god, what is this? But then the camera like because in my head I'm like, oh, this is new footage. Okay, so this is like, I'm like, cool. But then it panned down. It panned down into the vehicle a little too much, and I'm like, oh, like this is the dad. Okay, this has got to be a car commercial.
Yeah, and it was.
But it was okay though, because it's like Meadow and AJ just it's like, kids, the back.
Yeah, and I told after that, I was like, you guys know that I critique the car commercials the most. Kind of most of the time, they're the stupidest commercials, of all time.
Yeah,
in general.
See that?
And I said, and I'd never get a commercial because like, oh, that guy's like me, the puppy, the blah 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 blah. I'm gonna get one of those cars too. But I was like, that commercial right there, I'd buy that car.
Just the electric commercial, the puppy one, or
no, just from the Sopranos one. Okay. And I was like, that's the only commercial, and I'm not gonna do it. Like, I don't have one. You notice, not in my driveway,
right?
Because I
don't think you can buy it yet.
Exactly, never gonna happen. But I was just like, if I ever did, this would be the commercial that did it for me.
It was an electric Silverado, right?
Yeah,
with like 4-wheel steering and all that. Like, because they showed it like parallel parking. Also, well, hold on, wait. Checking myself here. You haven't finished the show yet, have you?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna say anything else.
Still working on it.
Nope, not gonna say anything else. We can revisit this when you're done.
Yeah. Put a pin in that.
Put a pin in talking about
again
the show and the commercial.
I keep getting distracted. Like,
it's okay. No, it's all right.
The new Jack Reacher show came out, and I watched like 2 or 3 episodes of that. That's really good.
Oh yeah, I need to watch that.
Amazon. I'll just save that for another.
So many things. They dropped the whole season, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a quality Super Bowl commercial to me.
Commercial. Yeah. So like, okay, so like that one, the Barbie one, I really enjoyed that one. I'm trying to think of other car ones. So did you see the Jason Bateman? It wasn't really a Super Bowl commercial because I saw it before the Super Bowl. But it was the one talking about the Hyundai Ioniq, where he's like, it starts out with him as a caveman, and he's just like, our first blah blah blah. So basically, it's saying like the first electric cars weren't great.
It wasn't Jason Bateman. It was. Oh no! I know what you're talking about. No, I'm thinking of the Larry David one.
Yeah, that one was kind of funny, but
it was just like, It
was like a crypto thing because crypto's all the rage. Yeah. Speaking of that, what did you think of the QR code commercial?
Yeah, well, so
did you scan it?
No, I don't have a QR code reader on my phone.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Doesn't your camera just have it built in natively?
No.
Google,
and it's how I like it.
I think you're lying to me.
I'm not.
You're lying to me, Josh.
I'm not. You can check it out yourself.
The iPhone you can just point your camera at a QR code and it picks it up.
So our guest was able to do that with hers, and she has the Pixel 4a.
But yours doesn't do it.
But mine doesn't do it. I don't think Shelly tried.
So you have to have a separate app still.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't like QR codes in general.
I don't either. But and that one, like, so in that Yahoo article I was reading, that commercial was graded poorly.
No kidding.
And it was for Coinbase. It was another crypto thing. It's like, scan this and join Coinbase and
it really
buy
took
crypto.
me out of the celebratory mood. Because it was just QR code like bouncing around the screen.
Yeah, it's like a
And it was
screensaver. It's like, boom.
I thought it was going to be like an Office tie-in. Because there's an episode where they're like watching this cube bounce around, and because they want it to hit like the corner perfectly.
Oh,
right, for the screensaver, and so that's where I thought it was going, and then it just ended, and I was like, oh, so glad I watched that.
So you scan it, and it's like, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna check it out. So I scanned it, and it was Coinbase. I have a Coinbase account, so it was like, oh, you can enter to win $1 million in Bitcoin. So I was like, oh, cool, sweet. But it, like, I don't know, it's a little too much like. It feels like they're a little too full of themselves. They're like, oh, yeah, we're crypto. Crypto's hot right now. We're just going to make this commercial. We're just going to throw a QR code and bounce it around.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's like a different idea, but I'm like, this isn't what people who are watching the Super Bowl, because I believe that most people are probably pretty invested in both the game and the commercials, because historically, commercials, like we said, have been pretty awesome.
And the halftime show.
Pretty epic. Mm-hmm. And the halftime show, which we haven't even gotten to yet. And this commercial is it's just not the right, Super Bowl is not the right place for a commercial like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to like wonder and think about stuff. I just want to be amazed. Right. I want to laugh. I want to cry. I want to have my mind blown. I don't want to look at a bouncing QR code.
Yeah. Super Bowl's a chance to like get together with your friends and family and, have a party for no reason at all, except to watch other people like sweat it out. And that's fine. Yeah. That's what we use it as. And yeah, I will say the halftime show.
Did you like it?
I did.
It was good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I absolutely did. It was probably one of the better ones that they've done.
Yeah, because always in the Super Bowl, it's like you never get like full performances because there's not enough time. They have to mash up, like the songs and stuff. But I thought it was cool. You had like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, you got throwback to Tupac.
Eminem,
you got 50 Cent hanging upside down.
Right.
And I think the short guy, because I'm not really up on my hip-hop, was Kendrick Lamar.
I think that's right.
I think that's who it was.
Yeah. That's Kendrick. They were all...
They were all good performances.
It was all great. I love the memes that have come out of that. That might be my favorite part of the Super Bowl this year, actually, is like the memes that have come out of the halftime show. They're like, why? Because they were like, oh, Eminem's taking a knee during a sporting event. And like the comments are always like, he just told you his palms were sweaty and his legs were weak.
Spaghetti, come on.
Yeah. There's a Cyanide and Happiness. The guy who does those comics posted this thing that was like
Blurger.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
He posted the thing that was like Snoop Dogg was caught smoking a joint as he was coming up the stairs to perform, and they were like, oh, this is just unbelievable, you've lost a fan today. Sarcastic because
so he made a comic that was like that was that.
Well, he did. It was just a picture of Snoop like hunched over and like taking a drag.
You lost a fan.
And he's like, oh, this is just ridiculous. Well, you're supposed to be a role model. You lost a fan today, sir. And it was just like, oh yeah,
Snoop is
so great.
Snoop and weed go together like
no other things go together like Snoop and weed. I think we're at that point now.
Potato chips in a sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean, ice cream and ice cream.
Peanut butter and
Snoop
everything.
Likes his weed.
Well known. Have you seen the comedian? What his slang term is puffy because he's like a short, fat Mexican guy, real fat.
Is it the Iglesias guy?
Yeah, and he's like, I got to meet Snoop Dogg, and I took my son, and I just had this. He was telling the story about how he was talking to his son about drugs, and like, don't do drugs, and I'm not, and I'm, we're clean, whatever. And then he goes to meet Snoop Dogg, and he brought his son because why not? Mm-hmm. And he's like, and I'm sitting there, and I'm talking to Snoop, and he goes, and he lights one up, and he goes, man, what is it? He's like, hey, Puffy, get fluffy. And he like passes him the joint. And he goes, He goes, and I had this moral dilemma because my son is watching me. So I took a big drag. Anyway,
great.
It's a great little like.
Oh man,
one of those stories. It's like, yeah, he couldn't plan that, but
that's
anyway.
Awesome. Yeah, I enjoyed the show. I think my dad even. I mean, he probably didn't enjoy.
Is he nodding in time a little bit? I could see him doing that. Maybe.
I was.
Maybe a little toe tapping.
I didn't watch him too closely, but
the memes for before the Super Bowl about the halftime show were also great. I was like, remember, if you listen to these back in the day, you needed to stretch before you get down with the music, because once you get down, you may not get back up again.
I saw some of those because they're like, if you think this was like, basically you're old. Like, if this is your music and you're like, oh man,
remember?
Yeah, I remember this when I was a kid.
Schedule your colonoscopy now.
Yeah. Yeah, because the thing is, like, sometimes they're like, man, why they got all these really old acts on the Super Bowl? Like, this is for old people. And then they're like, yeah.
It's really just universal appeal at this point. Like, there's the classics are classic for a reason.
Right.
People who don't like hip-hop know Eminem and Into Club, and they at least recognize Snoop if they don't recognize the music.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Dre is like
Dre's
household name.
Icon.
And he's
they all kind of are.
Yeah, they all are. Dre feels more like because he helped springboard so many people's careers.
Right.
He's got his own headphone line, and which is actually pretty good. I have a pair.
Some Beats.
I got some Beats by Dre. Beats mixers. I've had them for like.
Are they over the ear ones?
Yeah.
I had the
wired still.
I had some of the wired. They were wired together, but they were earbuds that were connected, but they were wireless.
Was that the fettuccine style cord, the flat cord?
I think so.
Because I had a pair of those. Those are my favorite headphones.
So I had those, and the reason I got them, like, I wanted to use them for running.
Oh,
and they didn't really work for me. They kept
running.
Falling out of my head, and I think it's because I have giant ears. Like, I just have bad luck with putting stuff in my head while I'm in my ears while I'm running. So I actually sold them to somebody at work. So I didn't use them very much to like actually listen to music and stuff. But
yeah, I got a set of mixers that I got literally I think 10 years ago or so. Because I think it was still in our old apartment, and I still use them every day at work for our like Zoom calls and stuff for editing. Those are my go-tos.
So I'll say. So a pair of headphones that I have, I got a pair of Bluetooth, like wireless, Bluetooth, noise canceling Surface headphones, like the first gen of those, and I really like them. Like they work really well. Like you said, I use them for hook them up to my work computer, like Zoom calls or Teams calls, and listen to music. And I also they're paired to my phone too, so
nice.
I really like the noise canceling, and they got like so they're over the ear, over the head.
Yeah.
Cans. So they have these little like dials on the side, like on each ear that you turn. Like the left side is the noise cancel, like you turn it forward to turn up the noise canceling.
Nice.
And then you turn it backwards to like either like turn off the noise canceling, or it will actually do that amplify, where it'll amplify the ambient sound. And then the right side is your volume. So yeah, I like them. And actually it's my second pair, because the first one, like one time I went to like put it on, so you kind of have to stretch it out just a little bit to get it over your head, and it like snapped.
Oh no!
On the top. Microsoft replaced them for free though.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then they were like I was chatting with one of their reps about it, and they were like, it's like, yeah, normally we wouldn't this wouldn't really be covered, but it looks like, basically he's like, it looks like it actually broke on you. You didn't like break it on, you didn't break it yourself, like on purpose or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've had them for a couple years now.
Yeah. The main reason I struggle with my headphones now is because they're, like I said, they're wired. And, there's not a headphone jack on my phone anymore, or on the iPad or anywhere else. So I don't have as much opportunity to use them as I'd like.
Yeah. So we went, like I said, we went on vacation last week. So Wanda, she has a pair of we've had a pair of like Bose noise canceling headphones for a while.
Nice.
She always uses them when we travel, and they're wired. She has the same thing. Like her phone doesn't have a headphone jack, but she has the little like adapter.
Dongle. Yeah. I have one of those too, but I find it annoying still.
Yeah, it's like, why should you have to have an adapter?
I considered getting, because Beats for a while had a cord where you could, it went from headphone jack to directly into the USB-C 3. Or USB-C.
C, yeah.
And I almost got it, and I was like, I don't know, we'll be fine. And then now they don't have them anymore. And I'm like, I could get a different branded one, but, I wanted to match
buy it like on Amazon,
I wanted to match my headphones.
or eBay or something like that.
I haven't looked in a while. I probably could. I'm considering getting some Bluetooth earbuds.
So ones that I've got are Jabra Elite.
I hear good things about Jabra.
75T, I think, because there's and they're on 80 or something now, or 90. But they have the Elite, and they have the Elite Active, which the difference is the Active is sweat proof. You can wear when you run stuff, which I haven't actually done that because I've had a bad experience with things in my ears while I'm running.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are good. Jabra, yeah, good stuff. When you set it up, it even gives you a basic hearing test. It tunes it does the little the tones
Nice.
And so it tunes when you download the app on your phone and you're setting up the earbuds, it tunes the profile based on your hearing ability and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
So they're pretty neat. But they're kind of pricey.
Yeah, they all
I mean, they're all kind of pricey. But
Yeah.
you could probably find the model I've got for slightly cheaper because it's not the main model anymore. But
Well, I'm actually eyeing a pair of haven't committed yet, but there's a kind of a more unique pair that I'm looking at. The Gravistar Series Pros.
I mean, there's so many options out there now.
There really are. There really are so many. It's
Now,
pretty insane.
I will say, don't go for the cheapest pair, because if you just buy a pair on Amazon or something for $20,
Yeah.
the Apple earbud
Knockoff ones.
knockoffs. So
Yeah.
I did that once, and they look pretty much the same, but you put them in your head and they just one of them just wouldn't stay synced. I couldn't get sound out of one of them, so I'm like this sucks. So I actually tried to return them. We're oh, actually we don't accept returns, sorry. So I'm what? So I'm basically stuck. So I gave them to my dad, and he used them, and he basically had the same issues. And he uses his earbuds a lot.
Yeah.
But he was having problems, only one of them would work. So he was, so I actually ended up ordering him for his birthday a set of the Jabras.
Nice.
So which he appreciated. So I'm glad I got him he got a good pair instead of just going for the kind of bottom of the barrel cheapos off Amazon. It's maybe you find ones that work, but it's if you're gonna have to buy 2, 3, 4 different pairs over the course of a couple of years, why don't you just
Get the nicer ones.
pony up?
Yep.
So what are the ones you're looking at? What are they called?
They are the Gravistar, Gravastar Series Pro.
Let's see.
They've got a really cool look to them, but they have pretty good reviews.
How did you find these?
I don't remember.
Is that the case?
Yeah.
The
They definitely have a cyberpunk look to them.
Mars Pro from the future.
And their Bluetooth speakers are equally as bizarre and funky looking, but also very highly reviewed.
What color are you going to get?
Well, that's always the question.
War damaged yellow, war damaged gray, space gray, or neon green?
It'll either be, I think, the space gray or maybe the war damaged yellow. I kind of like that biohazard looking.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nice.
we'll see. I'm thinking about it just because I have a pair of over-ear Bluetooth headphones that I like a lot. The problem is that a lot of times I just need something that's going to travel easily.
Yeah.
And I can't really wear them to the gym or anything like that. They're
Right.
just too heavy. They don't stay on with rigorous exercise.
Yep.
So, or even moderate, I should say.
Right.
So I kind of want something that's a little simpler. And I was using like these headphones that I'm using now are what I take to the gym because it's like an extra long wired cord, but they tend to get caught on stuff when you're exercising. The cord does, and
you yank them out, and it's just like and that's always traumatic.
Yeah, it's just constantly annoying. So I was like, maybe I should just bite the bullet and get some like nice Bluetooth earbuds.
Are these Gravistars? Are they like sweat proof or?
I believe so.
Water-ish.
They've got like 3 different listening modes depending on what you're doing. So,
nice.
That'll help adjust the volume a little bit for music versus movies versus gaming. And
sure. Yeah.
It'll do like the facsimile of, I don't know if it's surround sound, but I mean, obviously it's 2 buds, so they do stereo. But I think it does, I think for gaming, it does like the fake surround sound effect as well. But I don't do a lot of gaming.
Cool.
That would warrant that.
But
anymore.
now you could.
But now I could. I have the option. And that case, there's like a little cutout in there. It's also a bottle opener.
Oh. Does it have a knife in it too?
It's not like a great selling point necessarily for me, but it's fine.
Would they actually market that? They're like, it's a bottle opener.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
interesting.
So I'm thinking about it. We'll see.
Those are pretty cool.
I think so.
Hip hop necklace comes with that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm more. What's kind of sold me on them is the quality of the everything.
Okay.
A lot of it's just like cheap plastic that's rotomolded and just slap the elements in there and call it good. And I don't know. They seem to have like a lot of thought.
Definitely like a. I've never seen, earbuds that look like that.
Me either.
So, I see there's a gaming keyboard in this picture. Do they also make?
Not that I'm aware of.
Or that's just the aesthetic they're going for.
Yeah.
Ooh, they make a MagSafe iPhone 13 cases.
Check out the
speakers.
Yeah, the Bluetooth standalone speakers are just insane looking.
Mars Pro.
But again, I looked up reviews, and all of the it's hard to find like poor reviews for these things.
These things are like alien mech, like
right. That one's got little guns on it.
Crab splicer thingies.
Yeah.
Oh. Venus.
These speakers are like straight from a video game, little like companion robot. Low-key one. They're kind of expensive, I think, but
I have like $90 for.
Yeah, like the more.
It's not terrible.
The most expensive one, as far as the Bluetooth speaker goes, $329.
Oh, I guess the Mars must be more expensive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So we'll see.
But they're reviewed well, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people find the headphones to be a little bassy, but not like in an annoying deal breaker sort of way. Most of the time, the complaint I hear is that like they're hard to get out of the case. Like they stick really well in the little charging case. But
okay.
I don't know. Maybe they just have big fingers.
Now, like, I am not an audiophile at all. Now, obviously you work with audio in your job. So, that stuff is more apparent to you. I work, working in IT, like, it's kind of weird because it's like all these other guys that I'm like friends with at work and, they're in some facet of IT. They all seem to be like audiophiles. Like they're like, yeah, I got another pair of headphones. And I got these, I forget what they call it. Like, I got, what is it? Open air or like,
the
open
bone
stage or something like that.
Like the bone conducting headphones. So it doesn't actually go in your ear. It sits like right in front of, and there's a piece that goes right behind. So you still have like full range of hearing. But the sound quality is apparently really good. And apparently, like Alexa loves them for exercising. My boss uses them for, like, that's his preferred method of answering the phone. And
interesting.
So apparently they're really good. I haven't tried them out myself, but
yeah, like these, like in like group chats, they'll just be talking about like yeah, I got this new pair of like fancy over the ear headphones, and I got these earbuds, and they're talking about stuff like, you know, like sound quality, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure like my Bluetooth Surface headphones are probably, you know, they probably wouldn't rate well from an audiophile's perspective, but I'm like, it works for me. It's fine. Like,
yeah, that's really what's important. Like, if you want to test it, what I've heard is like, if you want to test out headphones, listen to Bohemian Rhapsody. Because it's a very diverse song. There's a lot of highs, lows, bass, mids. So listening to that, and if it all sounds good, then like go for it. I think the beats, because I definitely, like, when I first started seeing them come out, I was like, oh, just like an over marketed, you know, celebrity endorsed junk was my initial take on them.
Right.
And then our friend Brian was like, no, you don't understand. I thought so too, and then I tried them, and now I have like 5 pairs. Oh. And I was like, yeah? He goes, seriously, here. You know what? I have some earbuds. I never use these things. You can just have them, and that's how I got my Beats earbuds.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll check it out. It's probably just fine. And I was like, oh no, this is actually, I can hear like more subtle things in the music that I didn't pick up before with like my Skull Candies or whatever.
Sure.
So like sometimes, yeah, but I mean,
I guess like Bluetooth isn't like the best quality. Like, you don't get the best quality sound out of Bluetooth anyway, right?
Yeah,
like
I mean, if you want like
you want to plug straight in, right? To get
and you also want like over ear, you know, full cans and stuff. But honestly, the Bluetooth and like earbuds have come like far enough along that, I mean, really, you can spend not a ton of money and get really good sound out of them.
Sure.
So
yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, like the 2 pairs that I have that I use, the Surface over the ear and the Jabras, I'm like, they're both just fine.
Yeah,
they're both. I'd recommend either of them to people. So, but like I said, I'm not an audiophile, so I couldn't. And you know, I honestly don't listen to like a ton of music. Like, I do listen to some music, but I'm like, I don't listen to it like all day every day, like some people, you know, at work at a computer. So, you know, I probably, maybe I'm not the best person to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have different headphones for like different occasions too.
Sure, I think, yeah.
And I don't know. Like, on the one hand, it seems weird, but like, yeah, you know, like I said, I use my Beats at work. When I was like doing the cleaning job, that's when I used my over ear like cans a lot. I use those when I'm editing this podcast and the other podcast I edit. But again, it's kind of, they just take up too much space in my bag, and I don't need them. And I can use, you know, these kind of cheap earbuds, wired earbuds, which is actually what I use at work when I'm not on a Zoom call, because they block no sound. I have like some of the Apple earbuds that used to come with the phones, you know.
Exactly.
And they work fine. I can hear what I need to, because I'm not listening to music typically through them. I'm listening to voicemails.
So much more fun. Not. Yeah, you're talking about space. Like, my Surface ones, they have a nice case, like a zip case that they come with, but they take up a lot of space in my bag. Whereas, you know, they're like, you know, the case and is like this big.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, the Jabras are like, boop. So
yeah, and that's kind of what what's brought some of it up too, because yeah, I edit like my daughter has basketball practice. I'm not coaching her at all, so that's like a great time for me to get my editing in. So I take my backpack and stuff, and it's fine. It's not like I'm not encumbered with headphones, but at the same time, I'm always like, I could really use something a little more streamlined. So yeah, that's what's spurred that on quite a bit.
And you talked about like not being good for like exercise or like even like moving around. Like one time I remember I was when I was still in the office, I had the Surface headphones on. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to music, but I'm going to like walk. Like, I had to go into their IT closet and get a computer and stuff. And I had these giant headphones on my head, and I'm like, I felt weird, like very conspicuous.
Yeah.
And if you put your head down or tilt it up, like they can slide on you. You know, like
interesting. So my mixers, I've never had that problem with. They fit my head very well, and there's room to expand. I I would have said medium, but maybe I have a small head. Because they're like on the smallest setting, for the adjustment. But like I worked in production, not a lot because again they were wired headphones, so I didn't want to get caught in the machines. But like when I was working in the library and doing that kind of stuff, like I wore them and I was looking up and down and moving my head a lot, and like they never moved, they didn't budge. They were nice and firm.
Well, and the Surface ones have, they have the different like sizing, that like, and it has a nice satisfying like click to it. So I don't know, maybe I should just tighten it up a little bit. I don't know. But maybe it's just, but it's not really a big deal to me because I'm not like moving around a lot when I have them on. So, whereas the Jabras, you stick them in your ears and they stay. So, like you said, you got different headphones for different occasions.
Yeah, I do.
So,
I do.
Well,
cool, man. Well,
do you think we should wrap it up?
I think we probably should, or we're gonna get more flack about how long the episodes are.
I mean, we're sitting at 2 hours and 10 minutes right now.
We'll see how much I can cut out.
Hey, welcome to the Open Eclectic. Thanks for listening to the Eclectic. Wow, that was like 30 seconds.
That'll be our April Fool's episode.
Welcome. Hey, how's it going? Good.
Good.
All right.
How are you?
See you later.
All right. Big gulps, huh? Well,
see ya.
See you later.
Cool. Well, again, thanks to everyone for joining us on another episode. Check us out on all our different socials, The Open Eclectic, and if you feel like it, throw us a coffee.
Yeah.
Ko-Fi. And
so we can get headphones.
Time. Yeah, so we can get more headphones.
Yeah.
And can't remember what we talked about. Headphones and like cool gadgets that we're going to test out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe some
tiny phones.
Tiny phones. That would be hilarious to get, like, I don't know. And that'd be another tack to take, to be like, let's find the smallest phone possible and like use that and see how long it takes us to go insane.
Well, I can ask my friend at work tomorrow and be like, how long did you have that Palm Pre before you just wanted to throw it?
I did see a video where somebody used the new iPad mini as a phone for like a month or something. I didn't watch it because I was just like, that seems like such a bad idea. But also maybe not, because like how often do you make phone calls?
Not very often.
Yeah,
honestly.
And if you had some Bluetooth earbuds, like that's how I would primarily answer and be like, all right.
Yeah. Well, and it's also kind of cool is like if you have like an iPhone and an iPad and like they're in proximity, like in the same place, proximity to each other, like call comes in on your iPhone, it'll actually come in on the iPad too. So you can answer it on the iPad or on the iPhone.
That's pretty cool.
So I mean, it's like, and you're right. Like a lot of people now are having headphones on. Like if I'm at work, I got my headphones on, I'm listening to music, or I'm in a meeting and a call comes on my phone, it's gonna come through my headphones. So I'm not gonna have it up to my head.
Right.
So not that crazy.
Yeah.
It would have been crazy a few years ago, but not that crazy now.
Not that crazy now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, anything else you want to add?
No, man. Again, thanks for another wild ride of a conversation. Started with the Super Bowl and ended with earbuds, and I think it was completely logical.
Yes. If we go back and analyze, we can track exactly what happened.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that's what I enjoy a lot, just so much about this podcast, is that we never know where we're going to end up.
We had it because we had a plan for tonight.
We did. Like usually we have a start. We know where we're going to start. We just don't know where we're going to end.
True.
Maybe we have an idea. Yeah, it's great though.
Great metaphor for life in general. You know where it starts. You don't always know where it's going to end.
Right.
Yeah.
Or when it's going to end.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding. I was like, what if we just cut it right there?
Or when it's going to end.
Okay. All right. Until next time. See you later.
This concludes our broadcast day. Thank you so much for listening. You can find The Open Eclectic on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and MySpace. Want us to ramble on about something specific or have a comment on what you just heard? Send us an email at theopeneclectic@gmail.com. We now have a Ko-Fi if you feel like supporting the show. That's ko-fi.com/theopeneclectic. Or support the show by leaving us a review. Thanks. We hope you'll join us again next time on The Open Eclectic.